President Donald Tusk has warned the British Prime Minister she must bring concrete proposals to the table. Meanwhile, there are reports that the EU is ready to suggest to the UK that it remain in the EU customs union and internal market for an extended transition period into 2021 if that can help it reach a post-Brexit trade deal and avoid a hard border in Ireland. Let's head over now to London, where our correspondent Vincent McAviney has been following the latest developments. Vincent, what can Theresa May do to break the deadlock this evening?
Good afternoon, Tokes. Well, Theresa May will shortly address the Commons in the weekly Prime Minister's question session here before she heads to Brussels. And at the moment, it looks like she's going empty-handed unless she decides to take a trip through duty-free to get them something, because she is going to be going to them and saying, I've made my concessions, I've made my position clear, I cannot change on the backstop because it could lead to either the breakup of the UK if there is a border in the Irish Sea, or the voiding of the Good Friday Agreement if there is a hard border there. Neither of those two things I want, so you need to come up with something else. That is the blunt message that we think she is going to give. She does say that she is optimistic that, as we heard on Monday, if level heads can prevail, she thinks a deal is in sight. But from the reaction to from the EU yesterday in Luxembourg at that meeting, they are pretty pessimistic about this. And Theresa May will have another meeting with Donald Tusk this afternoon. She will then get to address the other EU 27 leaders and then leave for her own dinner at the embassy, where they will then talk about what she has discussed. But I think she will be trying, as she has done over these past couple of months, to say, if you don't concede on this, if you don't accept it, I could well be out of the job. You might have to deal with someone much tougher. And there would also be severe implications for not just the UK's economy, but Ireland's economy and the other EU economies if Britain crashes out next year without a deal.
And there's some movement on exactly what will happen after Brexit next March. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, there's two things happening on this. There's a report that Michel Barnier has offered an extension to the transition period for about a year beyond where it is now, if the UK will accept a two-tier backstop to avoid that hard border in Northern Ireland. That's been floated out. Apparently, the Trade Secretary, Liam Fox, is interested in this. He probably is now very aware of how complicated the next couple of years are going to be, would like more time on this, especially as we're due to have an election in 2022 at the latest, and the current transition period ends the year before that. So he might want a bit more time. I think the Brexiteer MPs, though, on the backbenches will not be happy with that. They want it out as quickly as possible. And there's also news that they'll be celebrating from the US, which is Donald Trump's trade envoy has told members of Congress and the Senate there that the US is ready to start doing a trade deal with the UK the day after Brexit Day next year. And in the past hour, the Department for Trade has responded to that with some sort of delighted comments that they are willing and ready to start that negotiation too.
Vincent McAviney there reporting from London, looking ahead to that EU summit tonight.